Hey, what's up, guys? I'm RoberOnocle, as been on me, Rob, and I am here with my brother Mark and my uncle Tomas. What's going on?
Hello.
Yo.
And we're here today to talk about protagonists in video games. Not necessarily good guys, it can be bad guys too. We're talking about any kind of protagonist, because it's just the main character, really. But, yeah, so I really don't even need to explain what the protagonists are in video games. They're the main character, and like I said, they don't have to be good if they don't want to, if the creator doesn't want them to. It just depends, Yeah, that's really all I have to say about this. So, Uncle Tomas, I do believe this is your first time being a guest on the podcast. So,
yep.
As always, we will start with the newest person first, so that will be you. So, Uncle Tomas, what is your favorite protagonist in a video game?
Favorite protagonist? Man, that's kind of hard choice.
Or you could pick a favorite. We're really informal here.
I'm gonna go with somebody who's favorite. I'm gonna go with Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War, because that dude's just bad. I mean, he goes in there, kills everything, manages to make it out. Thought he was dead in 4, made it back out of there. I was like, yeah, Marcus Phoenix, number one guy. He's like huge. He has like all neck and head. So yeah, like that dude's like he's bigger, larger than life. I really like his personality, and manages to survive even though he was like in jail. They bust him out, gets out of there, throws on a suit, just goes and fights or stuff. He's not mad about it. Just gets out there and gets the job done.
Okay. Very quick and straight to the point. So, Mark, what say you, my man?
Funny enough, my favorite protagonist is Phoenix Wright from the Ace Attorney series.
We got Phoenixes here. I see that's a common theme.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever played a game with the name Phoenix in it, by the way, other than like the location or something like that. But that's beside the point. Keep going, please.
Yeah, Phoenix Wright is like he sticks with his client no matter what, like no matter how bad it gets. And really, he's actually not meant, but he's actually really in it to for justice, really, just for justice. Like he wants like the true culprit to be caught, because actually in the second game he had a choice to win the case actually, but he ended up losing on purpose because the client was actually a murderer, so
he was like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I think I'll save the other person instead. That's actually the first case he actually lost, and I was like, wow, he's actually a good guy.
It was a wild ride, huh?
Yeah, he's actually in it for the kids, not the money.
Sounds like he's a pretty okay guy, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. And it seems like he just bring the cases back from the dead too. So whenever cases get really bad and he's about to lose this case, he manages to find some way, just one little inconsistency that just manages to rip apart the opponent's argument, which makes it so amazing. Especially usually in the final case, in the finale of the games, they're just slamming desks, yelling objection to each other. It gets all intense and everything, just cutting each other off. It's just intense. It's just funny, really. So yeah, I think Phoenix Wright is probably my favorite protagonist.
Okay. So, as usual. Are you good, by the way? I don't want to, steal it. Okay, cool. So, as usual, I'm a little bit of a wordy individual, but it seems like nobody here seems to mind. So I'm glad we're all cool about that, first of all. But I'd probably have to say that my favorite video game protagonist as of now is probably Link, but specifically Link from The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks, because it's pretty interesting, And this has more to do with just kind of the world around him in a sense, because if you play most Zelda games, unfortunately Link has this habit of just not being a very interesting character. He typically doesn't convey a lot of emotion. He usually usually if something's not going right, he'll be visibly upset about it. But usually the best we get of Link showing emotion in a Zelda game is usually through the 3D games. But even then, it can be a little bit of a stretch sometimes, like Ocarina of Time Link, even Majora's Mask Link, kind of, just really didn't show all that much emotion. You really didn't get to understand him all the way. Usually you could tell like his thoughts were contained within his own head, and you really didn't know what was going on. But around not even around 2009, we got The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks, which is my personal favorite Zelda game, even though I don't think it has the best gameplay, but that's besides the point. So, Link. What I really like about Link and Spirit Tracks is that it isn't just a matter of saving the world this time. Because, spoiler alert, 2 Zelda games back before that one, according to the timeline, but it's official anyway. But back in the Wind Waker, a really important thing happens at the end of the game where, and this is a different Link completely, but the Triforce ends up getting destroyed. The Triforce and Hyrule actually end up getting swept away. It's all gone and destroyed. It doesn't exist anymore because of a wish that the King of Hyrule made. That just kind of wished that everything would just kind of wash away. So the Triforce ended up destroying itself too, which is actually pretty metal for Zelda because that's pretty hardcore. Because you wouldn't think that a MacGuffin that powerful would just be that quick to destroy itself, but it's more than willing to, because the Triforce is an unbiased MacGuffin. So that happens, and you got Phantom Hourglass. Nothing. That's not really an important game, but the next game after that, Spirit Tracks, which takes place 100 years after the events of the Wind Waker, and this is at the point where New Hyrule is discovered. This isn't even the same Hyrule lore-wise in Zelda. It's a completely different place, and you can see that by like the fact that it's basically one big island, and you can clearly see the borders, which is something you don't usually see in a Zelda game. So, what's really interesting about the Link in this game is that since the Triforce has destroyed itself, there have been some Zelda games where you didn't have the Triforce, but it almost seemed like it was sort of like a fuel for the Link in a sense, because usually Link at his most willing and at his bravest usually was during the Triforce games, but something really interesting about this game is the fact that both Link and Zelda don't act how they normally do in a Zelda game. Link, in particular, he seems to not be as interested in his adventure. In fact, he seems a little more frustrated with the adventure than usual. By his constant sighing and he's actually a little more cowardly by nature compared to other Links, at least at the start of the game. And Zelda in particular as well, she does not care for the role of a princess as much. Not like in Breath of the Wild, where like she'd rather pursue studying the ancient Sheikah technology over being a princess. Not like that, but kind of like she doesn't want to be bothered with trying to save the world at all. Or even really being bothered with her destiny, just kind of waiting for Link to just sit and do it. Because even Zelda's and other Zelda games, she tend to be a little more willing to work with Link on something. But I mean, like right from the get-go, when she finds out that she's in, spoiler again, Zelda gets killed in that game, like quite easily actually. Yeah, ends up getting killed, and she's a ghost. And so she was told that her body is going to be used as a vessel to revive an ancient demon god from centuries ago. Because, if another spoiler, in Skyward Sword, it turns out that Zelda's body is it's actually a reincarnation of Hylia, which is why her body is a good vessel to reincarnate a god. This wasn't established back then, but it was established later, so it makes sense. So they wanted to use her body as a vessel to reincarnate a demon god named Aladdis. And, it was even some satire thrown in with it, because, she was losing her mind, and she really did not like the idea of an ancient, crusty god walking around in her body. And she even, she kind of even took a jab at the series itself, what she was talking about, because she was saying that she would just sit here and wait for Link to go and, save the day, because that's what princesses for generations have been doing. Kind of, I love that jab at the Zelda series that Nintendo made it themselves, Kind of talking about how she's just a typical damsel in distress, and how she's just willing to conform to that role, right from the get-go, without even, giving herself a chance. So, it seemed like it really has to do with the fact that the Triforce is destroyed, and it almost seemed like it was somewhat of a token in a sense, of Link's courage and Zelda's wisdom. Because, I mean, Zelda, you know, being the wise person she is, usually wants to make, you know, like, you know, any well thought out decisions, or trying to, like, work with Link to the best of her ability. But here she's just like, no, I don't want to do it. In fact, neither of them have the Triforce of Courage or Wisdom, because, again, the Triforce is destroyed. It doesn't exist anymore. So, well, it was really interesting. It's kind of like a double thing going on, because both Link and Zelda, over the span of the game, Link, because, again, at the start, you can kind of tell he just didn't want to be bothered with it. His general attitude, and how he wasn't, when things caught him off guard, he usually just kind of got surprised and acted a little cowardly. You know, I mean, he tried to man up when he could, but even then he wasn't the best at it. Definitely not the best.
Triforce and motivation.
Yeah, basically. And Zelda, again, it's really interesting listening to Zelda talk in that game, because as the game goes on, you know, she first starts off in the quest being really personal about the journey, because her own goal is that she wants to get her body back. She doesn't want to be used as a vessel. She wants to get her body back, and she's really not interested in anything else. Oh, also, this is the only Zelda game where you can see her in a hunk of armor, because her ghost can possess phantoms, which are basically dark nuts. And if you guys don't know what a dark nut is in Zelda, it's a hulking knight in the Zelda franchise. So you gotta get to see her walk around in that, which is kind of cool. But yeah, she and you know, she starts off with the quest being really personal about it, but she starts getting a little more general with the quest. Not in a sense of, like, being vague, but just in the sense where, like, she seemed like she's understanding that the situation isn't just focused on her, and she's broadening out a bit. She's kind of gaining a greater understanding as she's going on this quest. Now, again, you know, in Zelda fashion, this is not going to be really, really deep, because Zelda doesn't want to get to, like, you know, like Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy levels of just, like, this is doing that, that is doing this. You know, that's not what Zelda's about, and I respect that, because it really shouldn't go out that far. That's too much. But for a Zelda game to do this, though, it's quite unheard of. It's really interesting. Also, something I thought that was pretty fun on the side, too, is that despite the fact that she can walk around in hulking armor, she still gets scared by mice quite easily. Which, again, I think kind of just shows a bit of the lack of the Triforce part on that end, because no Zelda character, no major character, that major, especially Zelda or Link, has really ever been bothered by something that petty before. But, you know, again, it's there's different rules in this this kind of playground. But yeah. So you see Link and Zelda over the span of the game become generally more invested in their quest. And, you know, something I really liked about it too is the fact that the Link and Zelda in this game feel really genuine as people. Because, again, Link is just, he doesn't feel like it, but he kind of learns to, you know, it doesn't really matter whether or not he likes it or not. You know, he's got a job to do, and he's the only one that can do it. If he doesn't do it, New Hyrule is doomed. And same thing with Zelda, too, because to a degree, she doesn't really want to do it either. So they learn to get over that. And then you just have Zelda asking Link occasionally, like, some personal questions, like whether or not he's unsettled by the situation, or whether or not he's... she even asks you a question if you're afraid of her because she's a ghost, which I just thought was amusing. It has no consequences whatsoever, but, you know, it's just a question she asks you at one point. Zelda just generally being more insightful in the situation, analyzing things, opposed to just, you know, still talking about how she doesn't want her physical body to be possessed. And, you know, I mean, it even gets to a point where they, like, once they beat a boss in the game, they high five. You know, it's you usually don't see that in a Zelda game, which I just like. It's really amusing. It just kind of gets to the point where, again, they just feel like genuine people. And really interesting too is that you really haven't seen this in another Zelda game, but explicitly at the end of the game, they actually end up in a relationship, believe it or not. Which usually, at the end of a Zelda game, it's implied, but you don't really know whether or not they go in a relationship. Some more than others, of course. Although, in another Zelda game, Zelda kisses Link, but again, it's still implied, because Link he's like, alright, he just kind of hops on a boat and he sails off. You know, so it's just kind of like, you know, again, it's implied, but Spirit Tracks, it's specifically implied, which is, again, it's something we really haven't seen in a Zelda game, which is interesting. I mean, like, they hold hands at the end of the game, so it's kind of more, it's a given there. Also, rip my boy Burn, you forever live in my heart. He was a character, he died. It was quite a horrible death, too. He got pretty much disintegrated in midair, like dark magic. It wasn't pretty. It was terrible. But, yeah. I really like Link and Zelda a whole lot. They're definitely, in Spirit Tracks, they're definitely more interesting than their other counterparts, just because of how personal, how they just kind of, they legit feel like kids going on an adventure. Not like, other Zelda games with a 12-year-old that is just so down to save the world, like, no hesitations whatsoever. Willing to just abandon his childhood, like, on the go. It's not like that. Like, they're actually kids, and they want to do kid stuff. They don't want to be bothered with this. And, I mean, I completely understand it, But, again, some people, some adulthood, for some, adulthood comes faster, Actually, canonically in Zelda, you're considered an adult when you're 12 in the Zelda universe, so, and Link was, like, about 12 in Spirit Tracks, so, it was kind of a given anyway. So really had to get over it. But, I mean, again, maybe there were new laws in New Hyrule. I really don't know. But, yeah, I think they were really interesting. I really enjoyed them as characters. I almost want to say I wanted to say something else about it, but, I mean, I don't think it's really coming to me right now. I think I forgot.
Yeah, Link's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a pretty good guy, especially in this game. Like, it actually felt like... another thing. I actually forgot to mention. Another thing, too. Something very unusual for a Zelda game is that this game has 3 endings to it. Spirit Tracks has 3 endings. Which, there's the following. There's a cutscene, and Zelda asks you a question. Do you want to be an engineer, or do you want to be a warrior? And the endings are, it's a little minor, but it's still different endings nonetheless. So, if you choose the engineer ending, at the end of the game, after Zelda's, filling out her political papers or whatever, because, she's the princess, she has that duty. She looks out the window, and she sees Link riding a train, and I guess he blows the whistle to kind of, like, say hi, in a sense. And he lives the rest of his life as an engineer. If you choose warrior, then Link is out. He officially enlists himself in the Hyrulean Guard, and she finds him training out with some other soldiers before getting knocked on his butt. However, if you completely skip the cutscene, then Link's whereabouts are unknown. We don't know what happens to him. We don't know if he leaves the island or if he stays on, becomes an engineer, becomes a warrior. It's unknown. It's pretty interesting that, it's not the first Zelda game to have alternate endings. Link's Awakening was actually the first, and actually the all the other one. As far as I'm concerned, other Zelda games either expanded upon an ending or they just didn't have an alternate ending. Breath of the Wild came close, but again, it was still expanding upon an ending, not really having an alternate ending. Even then, Link's Awakening didn't really have alternate endings. It had an extended ending by having a detail that you wouldn't see there before. In Spirit Tracks, it can branch out one way or another. Either you're an engineer, you're a warrior, or we don't know what happens to Link after that. I think that was pretty interesting. They actually gave, like, for once they gave Link a choice. You had, like, a choice of, like, what you wanted his fate to be. And, of course, we haven't gotten a sequel to the game, so we'll never know if, like, that'll ever play a major part or anything like that. But, I just thought it was pretty interesting, though. Like, not only did they make him a more genuine character, they gave the guy choice of what he wanted to be.
They gave him, like, a real job. I'm like, Link's driving a train. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he became an engineer at, like, 12. Again, the adult Hyrulean standards are quite ridiculous. I don't think he'd even be able to process, like, how a train works, but I guess he got a certificate, and he was a certified engineer, so he could do that if he wanted to, and he's legit. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, engineer, like, designing something. Like, you're going to see him, like, building, like, designing a building for the Hyrule or something like that. But I'm, like, just giving Link a regular job, like, a 9-to-5 seems like strange. Yeah, you saved the kingdom. Hey, take this regular paying job here.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because with Link, because the whole thing, all he wanted to do is get a certificate and go home. That's all he wanted. He wanted to just get a certificate. All right, I'm an engineer, and then work that 9 to 5, like you were saying. That's all he wanted. He wasn't looking to save the world on top of that, which I can understand because look, the guy just wanted to get paid at the end of the day. He just came here to get he came to get a job, not in order to save the world. That takes a lot of effort and a lot of bleeding and whatnot. You know, it's just I can understand. So it's pretty interesting. It's like, all right, well, you know, if you want to, you can go back to what you were trying to do, and they give you exactly that choice.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. No Zelda game has done it since, and I don't know why.
Different writers, probably.
Yeah. The same writers actually worked on Skyward Sword. And I thought Skyward Sword's writing was pretty good, but even Skyward Sword had a very predetermined ending to it. Well, it's a prequel to all Zelda games, so it kind of had to have one. You really can't have that randomness just branch off because it would just get messy really quick. But yeah, we're probably never gonna see those writers ever again, unfortunately, because Spirit Tracks and Skyward Sword are not very popular Zelda games, mostly for their control schemes. Skyward Sword for the fact that some people hated the linearity. And depending on who you ask, basically people who don't have working arms, they think the motion controls are unusable. But, you know, if you're like me and you got a perfectly functioning right arm, you're okay, you know?
Yep.
And I'm sorry, keep going.
That's like one thing that helps make a good hero is like really good writing. I mean, if you write like a really good, it doesn't have to have like a tragic backstory or anything like that, but if you just like give the guy a lot of character and, you know, give him some emotions, and it's somebody you can get behind, you can really, like, you know, have a really good protagonist in your game.
Oh, yeah, I was still kind of scratching the surface with it because Spirit Tracks is probably the funniest Zelda game I've ever played. It's a really well-written game. And it's a DS game on top of that looks like garbage. But it's one of the most well-written I've ever seen, which is why it's my favorite. Even though it's not my favorite gameplay-wise, but just story-wise, I just have yet to see something as good as it. And again, it's the only Zelda game where you can, like you were saying, you can have a 9 to 5 job, you can feel like saving the world again, or you can make your whereabouts unknown. And it's all up to you. Something that's a little scary about that, too, is that you could actually, I do believe... No, actually, I don't think you can save before that. Okay, I'm thinking about the Demon Train battle. The Demon Train battle, I almost want to say that if you saved at a certain point, you could lock yourself to that choice, but I don't think you can. I think you can actually change it. But still, the fact that you could change his fate was just really neat to me. I really like to see these guys come back again, but for some reason, people in the Zelda community really despise the series trying to have any kind of story whatsoever. Like, they just really don't like it, which is why some people were okay with what Breath of the Wild did and how they just kind of didn't care. But, you know, I guess it all depends on how you perceive Zelda and what you like about it. Personally, I think, you know, the adventure and the story is very important. And I think especially in Spirit Tracks did it really well. But, yeah, I didn't actually finish explaining Spirit Tracks or the hate for it. But basically, some people really hated the controls, which to this day I still don't get because it's just tapping where you want on the stylus for Link to go. Like, it's really simple. It's almost Diablo-like in a sense. Almost. But it's quite similar to it. And some people just really didn't like that. I did not mind it at all. Also, some people really hated the train travel and said it was way too slow. I thought it was fine. Not the most interesting way to get around, but it got the job done. And there's plenty of places and plenty of side dungeons and side content to explore, you know. The side content is really, really good, by the way. If you want to try that game out, I would really recommend trying to do everything. It's fun. If you want to, that is, Uncle Tomas. I don't know if you've even played any Zelda games.
I play like the old ones. I'm just not up on the 3D ones. Like, I play like Zelda 1, 2, and 3. But like the 3D ones that come out like on the newer systems, I just haven't got a chance to get around to them.
Oh yeah, Spirit Tracks is what I like to. It was a part of what I like to call it the 2.5D era of Zelda games, because they had a lot of ideas from 3D and 2D. It had the perspective of a 2D game, but it had a lot of features from a 3D game, so I like to call it 2.5D. Because it didn't quite completely play like a 2D Zelda game, if that makes sense. You know, like it didn't play like a typical top-down game.
Yep.
It was a really interesting era of Zelda. which I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish it would come back. I kind of liked it. It was really interesting, but you know, it doesn't. It's not like it's a necessity, you know. So yeah, I mean, I would say that's a lot more interesting than what, you know, Breath of the Wild did with Link, where pretty much all of his character development is in like a bunch of text, like in an obscure room.
Just exposition dump. You're like, oh yeah, here you go.
They just dumped it. There was just an exposition dump in like a random location in Hyrule Castle, like Zelda's room or something like that.
We won't introduce the character here. Just read this.
Yeah, in the cutscenes, I don't know if you've seen him, but Link just stares at him and says literally nothing. He never says a thing. He gives him the cold eyes, man. It's creepy. But I mean, hey,
right.
People are okay with that apparently, so you know, whatever.
I like a little more in depth. You know, figure out where your character came from.
Yeah.
You know, it makes you more relatable to the main character. You know, you relate to the main character. You actually start to care. You know, like if you just kind of like exposition dump and you're just like playing with this guy, you know, after a point, you're just like, why do I care again?
Yeah, he almost never once expresses emotion. Like he's just, and they say according to the game, just as we're talking about a protagonist here, they say I would want to say it's due to the fact that he has a lot of pressure put on him, being the hero and whatnot. But you know, I don't know. That just doesn't sound legit. Seeing how dedicated he is, you know, I mean, I understand this pressure and whatnot, but never really heard of a Link caving under pressure before.
No,
it's and one to just kind of shut up because of it, you know. And they say that they have personal conversations and whatnot, but I mean, even when it's just Zelda and Link doesn't say a thing. And you know, it's not even that he has to say anything. He doesn't show any emotion. It's creepy. It's like Fallout 3 syndrome, man. It's strange and not very good. I want to say, at least with Skyward Sword Link, Skyward Sword Link had a lot of emotion for Link, a part of the series. Still isn't as deep as Spirit Tracks to me, and again, he was written by the same guys, but still. Also, you won't see a Link angrier than Skyward Sword Link. That dude is mad almost all the time. But he still shows other emotions, of course, but usually you won't see a Link get angrier than this guy. This dude is just mad. But yeah, so Spirit Tracks Link is my favorite Link for plenty of reasons. He hasn't been topped since. Nobody has. I would like the series. I don't think it needs to try to top that, but I think it needs to try to like get close to that again, and not just completely abandon it like they're doing now. It's a little too lazy for my liking, especially since it was an expedition dump, which is just horrible. I don't like that. So yeah. So we can talk about some other protagonists if you want. You know, just have some general conversation about it. You know, because we do improv podcasts now. We've been dumped the whole procedural thing. You know, or the formulaic one. Excuse me, formulaic one where we would just pick off questions. So okay, so let's go to the polar opposite here. So Tomas, what is your least favorite protagonist? Could be for any reason.
It's I don't really have like a least favorite one. It's like usually people that just make really poor decisions, and it's just like it's written so well that you're just like, you're like you're caught up in these feelings for this guy. You're like, man, this guy is like the man. Then he just lets you down at the end. So like, I haven't played it yet because I don't have a PlayStation. I think it's 3 or 4. I'm not sure which one it is on, but like The Last of Us, like I've been like looking into that. Have you played that?
No.
Okay,
Look
so like I've been like looking into that. I don't want to spoil it in case like you guys are like want to go play it, but
be vague. That's fine.
The protagonist, it's like the world is ended. You need to find a cure, for this disease, and you find someone who they can make an antibody from, and pretty much the guy doesn't save the world in the way that you would think that he would. I mean, like at the beginning, he comes off like from all the videos I've watched of it, is like he comes off as like a really good guy, and just from being alone in the world, which I mean is realistic. I mean, you're out there, right. Everyone's dead, mostly, pretty much. Just a few survivors left around. You want to have some company too, but the guy just like hey, it's all about me at the end. I want some company. Yeah, we're gonna do this. So. Yeah, I don't want to mess it up for you guys because they said it's. I mean, it's got rave reviews. I really want to play it. I just haven't had a PlayStation system, and it was exclusive, I think, for the 3.
You can get it on 3, and you can get it on 4 as well now.
Okay, yeah, I'm like debating since it's like Black Friday and it's like $200. I might like get a PlayStation and actually like do that. I want to play that and like Detroit Become Human. Like that seems pretty cool too. I love choose your own adventure stuff. So like you're the protagonist, so you can do it like so many different ways.
Right.
Like that is like one of the things that like really drew me to that game. I've been watching videos of that too and like spoiling it for myself, but like the choices you can make are pretty amazing. From like going from being like the all out superhero, you're like the saint of the place to, you turn that guy into just a total heel, but you're still a protagonist. So like I really want to play both of those. It's like I gotta add those to my list, and both of them, of course, PlayStation exclusives.
Okay, fair enough answer. Mark, what say you, my guy?
No, I really don't have a non-favorite protagonist.
Just pick one you hate.
Well, okay,
and it could be for any reason, whether they're poorly developed or you just hate them as a character. But preferably that they were just poorly written, because let's just make fun of some stuff.
There's some characters I don't like in Phoenix Wright, actually.
Oh, okay.
The new characters they added in since, what was it? Apollo Justice, yeah. Apollo Justice, well, that was after the trilogy, which ended up adding him in. His game wasn't that good, but him as a person, it's like they just wanted to add some. I mean, I don't have a problem add anything different in the games, because they wanted to add something different with him. So okay, that's okay, all right. But he just, I don't think he's written that good. It's, I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, I don't like the new characters in Phoenix Wright with Thea Sykes, Apollo Justice. What's her name? Trucy right now. Yeah, I don't really like them. I feel like there's like they kind of ran out of ideas. Kind of want to add something else in it.
So they're desperately looking for something, like trying to make themselves relevant again.
Kind of, yeah.
With like that character diversity, I would take it.
Yeah, because like those characters have some special abilities they can use. Like, oh yeah, I can see the little quirks you do when you're trying to lie or something, or I can tell the discord in your heart. I can hear your emotions or something. It's like
sound like a bunch of Mary Sues.
They're not Mary Sue's, but like it's like, why do you have that ability? Like, well, why? Yeah, so yeah, I just feel like they just added too many new stuff in the game. I mean, I was in Dual Destiny's way I really started adding all the other characters in it, but I feel like Justice kind of redeemed it because it doesn't feel as dependent on those two characters anymore. It feels like more things right to have a bigger role in it than they did in Dual Destinies. Yeah, so I feel like I don't really like those characters.
But you feel like you feel like there's a return to form coming though.
Yeah, it's kind of a return to form because there's a lot of stuff that appeared in the older games that's not appearing in the Spirit of Justice, and even the writing seems very similar to the older games too for some reason.
Oh, that's really good, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Anything else you would like to add?
None really.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, so for me, this is gonna be really easy. Anything written by modern Activision. Now I haven't looked too deeply into the Black Ops series, but we could talk about Overwatch because Activision does own Blizzard, and you could kind of see parts of them seeping into it. But just on Call of Duty, really quick, just looking at Black Ops 3, because the characters in Black Ops 3, the protagonists, they're supposed to be like they're all like their own good guys or heroes or whatnot. Not very interesting. They're more focused on being edgy than kind of anything else. It's like a 12-year-old wrote it. Like, just write me a cool character, and they just picked out like the nearest 12-year-old, and that's what came out of it. I mean, when you're just saying stuff like like mess with the best, die like the rest. Or, you know, like the 54 immortals will crush all opposition. It's cringy. I don't really like to use that word anymore, but it's cringy. Like, that's really the best way I can put it. It's just, ugh. Just stop. You're not cool. Just cut it out. You're hurting me. I don't think I can really think of anything else at the moment, but just the things, little snarky stuff they say in Black Ops 3, you know, just trying to sound like they're trying their hardest to sound, you know, cool. It's just not working out. I'm sorry. But Overwatch is a very similar case. To a degree. Because some of the protagonists, because there's several protagonists on Overwatch, you really can't settle on just one, to be honest. It's just kind of characters. And you can almost say it's just a characters in video games kind of thing, but, you know, it's just, because really there's a lot of you could have several protagonists in a game, but that's besides the point. But the heroes in Overwatch, some of them are written very well, some of them are not written very well. Some are just infinitely less interesting than others. Because, well, first of all, let's look at characters like Lucio, or Tracer, or Winston, or even kind of Farah. Farah's pretty alright, or Ana. You know, where there's these characters, you know, but they feel like genuine people. They all have their own occupations, either before or after, you know. And it seems like they're generally happy with life. You know, Lucio, he's a DJ that fights in battle. You know, like you really can't get further than that with it. Tracer, just a general happy-go-lucky pilot in some kind of like British Air Force, I want to say, but she ended up getting like synced out of time, and you know, Winston had to go and help her and get her back, and now she's out of kind of like a character, I guess, that kind of can like manipulate time, or her own personal time anyway, to her own advantage, you know, which is pretty interesting, you know. And then you got characters like, who else? Because there's a lot of good characters, you know. You got characters like what's her name, Moira, who is ethically questions sciences because she's very, very curious about nature, you know. And she's really interested in seeing, you know, like, what she can twist around with it. You know, she's got one hand that's just jacked up because of all the like the stuff she's pumping into her veins and whatnot, or into one arm. Really, like, ethically questionable stuff. You know, she'll be getting like rejected, I think, from like some university or something like that. Because like, yeah, you're just basically a woman. You're weird, you know. And they weren't having that. You know, and she even actually gave Reaper his powers, you know, making his cells constantly decay and regenerate, you know. But speaking of characters like Reaper, then you get sent to somebody like Soldier 76, you know. And the best way I can put it is how somebody described it on Twitter. You know, he's like a character practically born in his 40s, you know, roughed up from the war, always like resenting the past, having a big gruff voice, trying every moment to sound like, you know, he's an old dog making a comeback. You know, that's not interesting. I'm sorry. And I mean, well, at one point that was interesting, you know, but you know, he's basically an 80s action hero in a sense. 80s, 70s, wherever you want to put that, you know. And I will say that's fine for the time, you know. 80s action heroes are just being 80s action heroes. Same with 70s action heroes, but that kind of doesn't fly in 2016, now 2018, you know. It's not interesting to really have that. Because really, it's something we've just seen a million times. And he's just a super cliche character. Not very interesting, to be honest. Same thing with even some of the other villainous characters, like Doomfist, you know, where it's just like, yeah, you know, he has his whole ideal, or he has his own ideal, you know, he's, you know, all these, I think he was like in a poor place, or had like a, you know, of course, a rough childhood, you know, whatnot. Ended up killing a guy. Now he's the new Doomfist. So now at every moment he's got to sound like this authoritative jerkwad. You know, it's just, Overwatch has a serious dilemma with its characters, its heroes, protagonists, whatever you want to call them, where some of them just try too hard to just be too dang cool, and you can tell that you can just, if it isn't in their backstory, it's in their character, and you can see it, and it hurts. Yeah, like Sauce is saying over here, 76 is just a grandpa that has flashbacks, you know. Except that's his entire personality, centered around like his rough past. You know, this old dog still got a new tricks, or you know, like back in my day, or you know, just stuff. You know, just stuff that, you know, it's just like, you're just you have like, you're like every trick in the book. Like, please, can you be a little more interesting? I'm not saying you can't have a character with a tragic backstory or be roughed up from the war, but like, to just play it off of that and nothing else, it's not interesting. There's no depth to him whatsoever. I'm saying that with even some characters like McCree, you know, it's just, he's not interesting, you know. He's just like, because he was a part of a gang and he used to commit all these crimes, then he was put in jail. Then Reaper was like, or now Gabriel Reyes at the time was like, all right, rot in jail or join Blackwatch. And he was like, all right. And, you know, now he's just he's a dude in his 40s, and he's like, oh, well, you know, I got a pretty rough backstory. I'm a fugitive, you know. And it's just not interesting, man. Overwatch, it just has a major issue with his characters where they're just, if their backstory isn't cliche, they're just insufferable. Like, I just hate them. At least there's something, because you can make a good edgy backstory. Like, again, with Moira, you know, just always twisting nature to whatever way she can, you know. And I thought it was pretty interesting how, you know, she was trying to, you know, be accepted by the science community, was generally rejected until Blackwatch was like, hey, your science seems kind of cool. Maybe you can help us out, you know. And I thought that was pretty neat, you know. And that's how Reaper got his abilities and whatnot. It was interesting, you know. And Moira as a character, I think we can all just kind of appreciate her. Because she's got like this hint of sarcasm that I love. And she isn't always trying to sound cool. She's really lawful with how she thinks, you know. She's doing this in the name of science, you know. And of course, some heroism to a degree. But, you know, mostly for science, you know. And she seems very caught up in a mindset of just being in this progressive scientific mindset. It just makes her interesting, you know. And she's also constantly disappointed by everything, which I can relate to that. So, yeah. So Overwatch, not all characters, but a lot of characters. I would probably say, we got characters like Reaper, Widowmaker, Soldier 76, McCree, Hanzo. You know, Genji's more interesting than Hanzo. That's weird. Because of how, like, more genuine and not edgy Genji tries to be at every moment, you know. It's just, Overwatch just has a big glaring issue with his characters, you know. It's like, for every Lucio and Orisa you get like 3 Soldier 76s. Nobody wants them, you know. And yet here they are. So yeah, that's my take on that.
Yeah, Genji's backstory is actually pretty cool. If you haven't checked out his video, that was actually pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, he's all right. But Hanzo, though, I've got to kill my brother. I hate you. Like, that's all he regurgitates throughout the entire game, is just how much he doesn't like Genji. And how, like, he's always just putting him down, and he's always just like, I'm better than you. Yes, Hanzo, shut up. And, like, again, I don't know how in the world they made one character way more interesting than the other, but Activision Blizzard pulled it off, so, you know, there's that. So yeah, Overwatch is in this really sad state for protagonists right now. They really need to get out of this bad habit of just trying to make them as cool as possible. You know, you can tell it's just a bunch of older people trying to write these cool characters. Well, one, because it is older people doing it. But, you know, it's just, they need to get their act together. Although, then again, though, it might not be the older people. It might be Activision, because they have a lot of control over Blizzard now. And Activision's modern Call of Duty echoes what Blizzard is doing with Overwatch. So I think Activision is kind of bleeding into Overwatch, which could be a problem, you know?
Yeah, it's either that or they're just like, okay, what appeals to teens these days, or we can, like, get them to come and play our game. And they're like, okay, check that box. Right, stick it on there.
Just pull up all these articles from, like, 2004, you know, like when edgy games were cool.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody remembers that era, but that was scary. Even my franchise Zelda was on that bandwagon, which is kind of scary. But yeah, it was Blizzard, you know, and even you can see this in their other game, Diablo 3-2. Specifically, I didn't really notice this. I kind of did, but Joseph Anderson, a fantastic reviewer, my opinion, on YouTube, pointed out just how cocky the characters are in Diablo 3, and how he said, like, even to the point where they're gonna fight Diablo, which is basically the devil himself, they don't care. They're just like, yeah, I'm gonna go kill Diablo, even though you're going straight into hell, the deepest part of it, and fighting what's basically Satan himself. Like, in what mind would you be, like, all the way confident about that? You're fighting the devil, the source of evil. Like, I mean, really, am I missing something here? I mean, like, it's it just kind of seems like, being really confident and cocky that you're gonna, like, yeah, I'm gonna kill the devil. Like, okay, or Satan or whatever. Just all right. I mean, yeah. The sad part is, I heard at one point Blizzard was fantastic at writing characters and making them really interesting, but I heard that everything kind of went down the crapper once Activision bought Blizzard. And I can't speak for old Blizzard because I just started playing Blizzard games like this year, to be honest. But I mean, I can see exactly what people are talking about. It's a bunch of edgy teen stuff, like Sauce is mentioning here. And they really need to get their act together. I'm sorry, Uncle Tomas, continue.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but it's like I think it's just because, well, the guy in the case of like the Diablo 3, those guys, they all know that they're like came from the ancient Nephilim, so they know that they're like super mad strong, and they're like, my ancestors have been smashing these guys for years, so I could go through here and crush these guys. That's the only reason I think they're like kind of cocky. But like the writing in Diablo 3, if you like actually read all that, there's like way too much reading to go on. It reminds me of almost World of Warcraft, where it's like you got to go around and read everything to try and get the whole story. But it's like it's actually pretty good in there, and it's like I actually like pretty much liked it. It's like but the only thing that one protagonist that I don't understand, I don't think you guys have played like Diablo 1. Is that Diablo 1? Yes, Diablo 1. You're pretty much all they be known as a warrior. Is the guy who defeats Diablo in Diablo 1, and the guy gets the bright idea to put the soul stone in himself and wander the planet to keep Diablo from remanifesting. So pretty much he ends up losing, and that's how you get Diablo 2, because he ends up taking over that guy's body. I'm like, whose idea was it to just like take the stone, stick it in your coat, roll out with Diablo, and be like, I'm going to be okay? It's not going to work.
Seems like Diablo 2 is like really where it kicks off, not really the first game.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't really seem like you really need to play the first game to really even be bothered with the story. Because if all you need to take from Diablo 1 is, you know what, I'm just gonna ram the soul stone in my body because that's a good idea, then it's really not much to take from that. It seems like 2 is where it's at.
Yeah, most of the lore and everything and all the stuff they're talking about in 3 comes from 2.
Okay,
it's like 98% of it comes from there. All they pretty much say from Diablo 1 is the Wanderer, and it was a warrior. Pretty much took the soul stone, stuck it in himself to try and contain Diablo, failed, and then that's how you get Diablo 2 and 3 and on with the rest.
Right. Okay. Pretty neat. Okay, so, let's get interesting here. So, in your honest opinion, what is a video game protagonist you would not want to mess with? Like, they are so overwhelmingly strong that you just, if you're like, okay, yeah, if I had to fight anybody, or if I had to fight them, I would just kill myself because that would be easier. Like, what kind of protagonist like that? Uncle Tomas, you first.
There'd be several. Probably number one on my list would be probably Bayonetta from the Bayonetta series. I'm like, she's outrageously powerful. I mean, you can stop time, reverse time, go through, disassemble your body, put it back together to dodge hits. Pretty much summon giant titans. I mean, it's kind of weird that her hair is like, A, her costume, and B, her her hair can turn into like all these different things, like use as weapons. But like, she's ridiculously strong because she's like a combination of the good. I want to say they say it's like the left and the right side of these like witch tribes or whatever. And they came back. Somebody had an illegitimate baby, and it was Bayonetta. She was sealed away underneath the lake, and they pretty much brought her back. And they were like, "Oh, we're going to end up." The end of the story pretty much is they're going to end up using her to pretty much end the world. And she was like, once she finally figures out, by the end, you end up even playing the game, you're doing your thing, and you're like, oh, you're actually being a puppet for the main antagonist of the game. But it's like she just summons so much huge stuff. They're like, you're just like, I don't see how anyone can survive half of the stuff that like she's throwing at these people that she can summon. It's ridiculous. And it's like, that's me. That'd be somebody I'm like, they're like, yeah, you got to face off against Bayonetta. I'm like, yeah, I quit. No, I'm good. You won.
Ugh. Okay, so Mark, what say you, my man?
To be honest, I don't know.
Can you just
I
pick
don't
one?
know.
Why don't you just like, oh man, I'm good.
Yeah, I really don't have the idea of which one I could pick. There's really just so many out there. There's like, if I find them, like,
Right, of course I'm not talking about anything like a protagonist that can just blow up the earth, because, that's, of course no one wants to be bothered with that, I'm talking like, more interesting, Not just like, yeah, I killed the galaxy, But just like, if, just something on a more subtle level where you're just like, oh man, I'm good. I'm good, I don't want to fight them. But yeah, nothing's coming to you?
yeah, nothing really.
Okay, fair enough. Alright, so, I guess I'll bring it around to me. So, personally, though, if there's one protagonist, I just really just don't want to be bothered with them. That would have to be the Doomslayer from Doom 2016. Now, as we all know, there's several Doom guys in the Doom series. Of course, you have the original Doom guy, then you have Doom 3 Doom guy, and then you have Doom 3, that one DLC, which name I can't think of right now. It's like Eternal Damnation or something like that. I forgot what it's called, but, of course it's hellish, but there was that other, there's like, what, that's like 4 Doom guys. No, I can't count. That's 3 Doom guys. And then there's like another Doom guy and like a Lost Missions one, and then you got, our current Doom guy, Doomslayer. He's the latest Doom guy. He's about the 5th Doom guy, actually. And, this guy he's different. Unlike the other Doom guys where they're just generally super good at using guns, not only is Doomslayer better at using those guns than those guys are, just as an embodiment of anger, this dude is way, way too powerful. Because, one, he could rip off your arm with ease and beat you to death with it. He could swipe you under your feet and punch your head clean off. He could stomp you on the ground, break your arms, and smash your head in. Like, he's got a lot of extremely violent ways he could end your life, Depending on, what your anatomy is, that's kind of how he acts. Because, he could rip your heart out and stuff it in your mouth and then, punch your legs off. It's just really ridiculous stuff like that. God forbid that he has something called Berserk, where he can literally rip you in half in like mere seconds, or punch you so hard that like half of your anatomy goes flying off, and then punches you another time to punch pretty much the rest of it off. This dude is insanely strong, and game-wise too, there are other factors they have to consider, because there's one ability that he has where if he kills something, he gets faster. He just moves faster in general. He has another ability where he can kill you pretty much before you can even see it happening. And he has another ability, and I like to call it like the Dragon Ball Z ability, where like from like a mile away, he'll just dash up and then kill you in whichever way he pleases. Where he just kind of zips up, and next thing you know, your arms they've been ripped off. You don't even see it happening. And he can even like low key fly with that too. So like, yeah, be careful. This guy is absolutely insane. And, really, if we were talking, like, a one-on-one with, like, the Doom guys, he would pretty much rip... And, Doom guy before, the original one, he was probably my favorite one, but I really hate to say it, but not only is Doomslayer my more preferable Doom guy, I think he's a lot cooler, but I really can't see him doing anything but ripping the last 4 Doom guys to shreds. Like, this guy is absolutely obscene. God forbid I survive one attack, let alone just pretty much anything else he's got under his sleeve. This dude has so many ways he could kill you. From like homing rockets to miniguns that split into smaller miniguns. Yeah, that's actually a thing. To just pretty much just if you can think it, to burst fire shotguns, to he's got too much going on with him, He's just too good at killing things. So, yeah. Doomslayer. I would not mess with that guy. And
You know what? I never really like paid attention. Like, do those guys actually have like names? Like, I never like looked to see if like the guys from Doom actually had a name. Like the guy, I just played them.
Oh, the Doom guys?
Yeah.
Oh no, none of them have names. The closest we ever get to a Doom guy having a name is the Doom Slayer, and that's more of a title than it is an actual name.
No, okay.
Also, apparently, according like game wise, the Doom Slayer you're playing as isn't the strongest he's ever been. Because at one point he kills something called a Titan, which is like a really hulking beast in hell, and he beat it almost effortlessly. Also, hell dropped a big old church on top of him, and that still didn't kill him. It knocked him out, but it didn't kill him. So this dude is just a walking embodiment of anger. And if he wants to kill you, he will kill you. And again, the whole Dragon Ball Z thing, he can do it before you can even see it coming. He just runs right up to you, and that's it. Also, somebody was calculating Doom Guy's speed. I don't know if it was Doom Slayers or Doom... I wasn't supposed to say it was Doom Slayers, actually, with how fast he could move in that game with other things, but I heard that he could move so fast he could launch a rocket into space. That's how fast he can move. So,
that's pretty quick for one guy.
Yeah. So, even if he just ran into you, you would die. So, like, if he were to fight you, there's a good chance he would win. A really, really good chance he would win. It's funny too, because he actually, I think he's a little bit of a midget. Actually, he almost looks like he's. Hold on, let me look this up. Actually, like, let me look this up. How tall is Doom Slayer? Let's see how tall he is officially. Let's see this. Okay. Oh crap! This is not in like American measurements. Hold on, give me a second. You know, I'm not very I'm not very good at this stuff. Hold on a second. Hold on. Oh, he's 6 feet. Like on the dot, he's 6 feet. I guess he just looks like a midget because everything is way bigger than him.
Yeah.
So he's really not that short. But yeah. Oh, also, the Cyber Demon, you know what a Cyber Demon is, right, Uncle Tomas? From Doom? Yep. Yeah. That thing grabbed him and threw him in the middle of the room, but it couldn't get him off the ground. He slid to the center of the room when it threw him. So it's more like the Cyber Demon pushed him, or lunged him. And the whole time Doom Slayer was just kind of sitting on the ground and just kind of scraped up against the ground and didn't move a muscle. This guy is dangerous. So, yeah, if I had one protagonist I would just not want to bother with, it's Doom Guy. Or Doom Slayer. Because he's just too strong. And lethal. And, yeah, Sauce, I would actually say Kirby is quite a lethal character because he just has a huge arsenal.
Kirby.
But, I don't know. I'm infinitely more scared of Doom Slayer just because of that lad's speed is too quick. He's
Kirby.
He's literally a mad lad. Not even crazy. He's just a mad lad, and he ain't having it from anybody. So let's get interesting here. So as far as protagonists go, what's your favorite sidekick? I'm just throwing out questions now because why not? So, Uncle Tomas, I meant to say you first. I'm sorry, I just kind of threw it out there without saying anything after that. My mistake.
Sidekick. I'm not sure on because pretty much most of the games that I played don't really too much have a defined sidekick. I mean, you always get somebody you work with, but I've never really experienced.
Our partner, that works too. I would say partner works.
Yeah, I've never really experienced a game where like you're just like, man, my NPC partner is like the man. You know, it's like usually the NPC partners get in your way, jacking stuff up. You know, I'm like, if I can see saying that Luigi's like a good sidekick guy. But I'm like, if you play like Super Mario Brothers 2, then you get like his own, you can play it with him instead of like Mario. Was that 2? Yeah, that was 2, not 3.
Yeah, it was 2. 3, I think you had to have like 2 players to play as Luigi.
Yeah. But I'm like, like if you just like had like a legit sidekick that had to follow you around, it's like, I'm like, there's never been anybody except for I think it's Captain McMillan or something like that on Modern Warfare. Yeah, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1. And he never got in your way, and that guy was the man. That was like but he only was there for one board. So I'm like, doesn't really count. But as for like someone that like sticks with you the whole entire time, yeah, I never really played something where somebody was getting in my way or I'm tripping over them or it's just like, why are you there? Even Diablo 3, you can pick like your own guy to go with you. They don't do anything. I'm like playing on Torment 13. My sidekick, he's not doing anything. He's poking people.
Right.
And,
yeah, I
like,
know what you mean.
The life bar is even moving. And I'm like, why are you here? You're dismissed. I blame myself. Yeah, for me, nobody. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Mark, what say you?
I don't have a favorite, but I can tell you what I don't like.
Oh yeah, hit me, man.
Well, the part I don't like is probably comes from Mario Kart. As either Donkey Kong or Wario.
As a partner? Oh, I know where you're going with this. Okay.
So I don't know if it started in the DS games or if it's always been a thing. But if you get Donkey Kong as a partner, he will always try to attack you for no reason.
On team races, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like you playing. Oh, let's play a team game. All right, all right, Donkey Kong, we're gonna get it in. And like, all right. And then like he throw a red shell at you, like directly at you, like you could wait till I pass by or something. I mean, I don't know. He just like he aims for you with a green shell and everything. He makes sure it's like your life is hard if you team up with him. Like, he ensures that like you lose. Like I don't know what his goal is. Wario, he kind of just gets in the way a lot of times. But Donkey Kong
generally not useful.
Donkey Kong specifically tries to hurt you. Like what? I don't know why.
Excuse me, Sauce. If you have Toad on your team, you're gonna win because he's just gonna teleport his way to the finish line. Toad is a freaking psychokinetic in Mario Kart games, man. I swear. That dude.
That's only if you're fighting Toad. That is.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, last I checked, it's probably when you're just fighting him.
Yeah, like I didn't believe the first time he said Toad appeared back on the stage, like on the smaller part of it.
Right.
But I saw it myself one time in Mario Kart.
Right, he just kind of teleported back. I'm like, excuse me.
And then you have On Rails Yoshi.
On Rails Yoshi, Lord, man, not even a partner at this point, but On Rails Yoshi was just I don't think he even had a brain. He just kind of just drove.
He kind of just moved.
Just a sentient, not even a sentient being, just a being.
Yeah.
Oh, Yoshi had like his innocence taken away. He's never been the same since. But yeah, Donkey Kong. You hate Donkey Kong, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong. He got on my nerves a lot of times.
Also, Sauce, which one are we talking about? For Telekinetic Toad, we're talking about 7. For everything else, we're just talking about like Mario Kart Team Karts in general. Mark has a very strong disliking towards Donkey Kong. We're talking like this is like a feeling that he's had for like a decade. Yes, Double Dash the stuff. Finally, some good opinions around here. About time.
Yeah, Double Dash was good. That's one of the few ones that I did play.
Except 2 people. And who would that be, Sauce? 2 people in one cart? What do you mean? 2 people in one cart? That's the point of... Double Dash is good except for the part where it was Double Dash. Is that what you're telling me? Which, yeah, that is very partner-based, actually.
I love Double Dash. This is only game you can punch a baby and steal its items and get away with it, you know?
Yeah. Just saying, like, how many games can you play where you can sock children in the face, steal their items, and get away with it? Like, you punched a child in the face and stole it. When 2 people controlled one cart?
You couldn't control one cart with 2 people.
Yeah, what?
You either switched out with one because one dealt with the items or one just drove.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know. Unless you had like a corrupted bootleg version of Double Dash. Yeah, one drove, one items. Yeah, that's how we had it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Because, you know, brother. I mean, maybe, like, what are you talking about, Sauce? You know, actually this kind of works too because, Mark, you were kind of like my partner. We were partners, really. You know, we both had like very explicit roles.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what? I guess you could say that Mark was a partner to me in a video game before. Because in Mario Kart Double Dash, you basically needed him. I know that's basically any co-op game, but shut up. This is welcome to my realm. Well, I'm basically talking to all you on YouTube because we just, you know, you had your mom playing with you and she couldn't drive. I mean, it's your mom.
Yeah, she got your brother. He's a pretty good driver.
Well, you know what? I love driving games, and like I can drive like my butt off in like almost any game except for Mario Kart. I don't know what it is, but like I cannot drive in Mario Kart either. So me and your mom need to team up because we'd be right together. So I can't drive in Mario Kart.
I'm telling you, back in the day, when me and Mark used to play Mario Kart Double Dash like 24/7, we could play that thing 150cc mirrored and get so far ahead of the CPUs because we were so good at the game to the point where we would actually sit and wait for the CPUs to show up so we would have a challenge. I'm not joking about that. We used to legit do that on the hardest it could have been. I mean, you could probably beat us now. I haven't played Double Dash like that. I haven't played Double Dash religiously like that in over a decade. Probably not since I was like 6 or 7. It's been a long time. But
don't worry, we team up. He won't be able to. Don't worry.
Okay, wow. You just called him out on the spot. That's terrible, dude. That's awful. I wish they would just give Mario Kart. He's saying it's just over here just rude.
Sorry about that.
But I wish they would just put Double Dashing in 8. Easily best Mario Kart game. They could easily pass Double Dash by that alone. Just put it in 8. Please. I'm sad. Please. Oh, man. Okay, but so the moral of the story is that Mark hates Donkey Kong as a partner because Donkey Kong's always trying to attack him.
Yeah, Donkey Kong, I can't stand Donkey Kong. He's just a painful person to be around.
All right.
And then we got Mario Party. Waluigi's basically the entire board. The hitbox was Waluigi's hitbox. I don't even know. I just don't even know.
And this is for what again? I'm sorry.
For Mario Party, just in general.
Okay, Waluigi is a. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Waluigi's hitbox is like it's too big. Like what?
It's the legs. It's the legs. I'm telling you, it's the legs.
Like, why don't you play as him? It's basically like you're getting hit in the game, like losing like simulator. It's like, why?
Sauce, isn't Waluigi your favorite Mario character? Like, just period? Isn't he like your favorite or something? Yeah. Wow, your favorite character is bottom tier in Mario Party. Well, you know what? To be fair, he only showed it. He was only meant to exist for tennis, and when you make a character only intended for tennis, and you put him in another game, and you have to make his hitbox consistent with his anatomy, you get a bottom tier character like Waluigi. I'm sorry, Sauce. So basically, don't have Sauce as your partner if he's playing Waluigi. Right, because his hitbox would have been as big as the board. That's why he's not in Smash. So, yeah, Mark, is it cool if I take it around to me?
Sure.
Alright, cool. So, I'm gonna pick both sidekick and protagonist. Or, excuse me, sidekick and partner. Or, whatever. You know what I mean. You know, because okay, I'm gonna bring up Luigi in a little bit, alright? Hopefully it'll make sense. So, one of my favorite partners in a video game is probably January from Prey 2017. And That's because I really like January in that game because he's really helpful. He's very insightful, and one of the things I can actually kind of relate to him on this. He's needlessly elaborate and needlessly just specific. He likes to a lot like I am, to be honest. He'll say like something like all right, we're in zero gravity. He's a floating robot. He or she, depends on what your character's sex is. January, they're like, all right, the zero gravity has been activated in Talos 1. He's like, that's really gonna set you back. It's gonna really gonna set you behind. Also, Sauce had to leave. See you later. But January, he'll say something like, all right, zero gravity has hit Talos 1. That's going to affect you really bad. That's going to be pretty difficult for you. You have to get around. That's going to be difficult to handle. But not for me because, well, I'm a robot. It's just specific stuff like that. Like, January's always saying something like that. Not even to be snarky or, like, sarcastic. January is just specific like that. And I think it's just, it gives a little chuckle out of me sometimes, just seeing how specific January can get. And I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to try to spoil too much, but you get a choice at the end of the game. You can have two options. And, well, if you pick the option where, if you pick January's option, you have to say goodbye to him. And, like, it hurts, man. Because he helped you, he helped you get as far as he could. He helped you get this far, and he's like, goodbye, Morgan. This is where we departed, or something like that, just goodbye, Morgan. I'm like, no, man. Come with me. I'll save you. But, that wasn't his goal. He said, like, he had a goal to save you and whatnot. He's like, goodbye, Morgan. And, yeah, kind of like that. All right, but we are on a bit of a time constraint, so I'm going to try to speed it along a little bit. So, I'll get to the other one really quick. Luigi, from Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon in particular. Because, I'm going to be honest, Dark Moon is not my favorite Luigi's Mansion game, not by far. I like, well, this is only 2 right now, excuse me. But Luigi's Mansion 1 is a lot more appealing to me. But I'm going to keep it short. Luigi stops the universe from collapsing on itself. No joke. Luigi is the reason why Mario can even do what he does anymore. Canonically. Stop the universe from collapsing on itself. So, yeah, that's really all I got to say about that. Stretch a little time a little longer than what not as longer than what we should, but it's just cutting a little close. Because we got people got things to do. But, yeah, those are our takes on, I'm sorry, is there anything else you two want to say?
No, cool.
For which part? For that?
Yeah, just sidekicks or partners before we depart for the night.
No, and sidekicks, I totally didn't think about it. Was turn-based games. And, I forgot what the guy's name was in Final Fantasy VII, and he had, a gun on his arm. Oh, shoot.
Wasn't it Baroth or something?
Yeah, it was Barrett or something like that. Man, that guy was cool. That guy was always jumping in, doing what I needed to get done. I forgot about that because those, it's turn-based. Usually it's people, unless they're horrible and low level and they miss, usually they always come in and, somebody revive you, especially if you got a healer on your team.
Baroth, that's a monster in Monster Hunter. My bad. That's
yeah. So I'm like, you know what? That actually wasn't bad. Wasn't those guys? Actually, probably almost anybody in your unless they're just totally useless in your turn-based strategy game, adventure game would probably be good. But I did want to nominate myself for the worst protagonist ever because I just remembered in Fable 3, you had to you're pretty much going to either work or do the right thing or all this, you pretty much set how the tone of the game is going to go for yourself. So you can rule and be a horrible person or you can be a really good person. I totally forgot that at the end of the game, you had to save up enough money to save the kingdom. And I was too busy doing other things in the game and did not save enough money. And literally when the game ended and the place got wiped out and you had to pay to save the, how much you did save the people. Man, I ended up one guy that hated me and kept chasing me around with a sword. That was it was me and that guy. Everything else was gone. So the save was totally useless for the game, because anytime I loaded the game, I was just in the bleak world with nothing there and that one guy chasing me. And I was like, you know what? I really suck getting this together. I really need to start the game over. I really need to do that.
Wow, what a way to end a podcast. Very climactic. I like that. All right, cool. I think that was pretty neat. So that's not like a very miserable future, by the way. That was just a wasteland with nothing but one dude that just hates your guts.
Yep, one guy. If you get a chance to like pick up Fable 3 for the computer, like pick it up. It's really, really good. I mean, it's like you can make yourself a horrible ruler, be a good ruler, but remember, do the mediocre jobs and save your money, because you need to. You can like rent out houses. It's really in depth. It's really, really good series. Fable 3 was Fable 2 is good. Fable 3 is my favorite, but like I just totally messed that up, because like no one told me if you didn't save money, everybody's gonna die, and that's exactly what happened.
Okay, cool. So yeah, guys, that was our takes on protagonists in video games. Again, as always, you can always go deeper with something like this. Hey, we might do another one in the near future. So yeah, guys, I'm RoberOnocle. This is my Uncle Tomas and my brother Mark, and we'll see you guys next time.
Later.
Later.